Hi guys, Brad Griggs again from Canine Services, and I'm going to talk to you today trying to dispel some myths regarding pedigree papers. Papers and dogs. What are papers? Well, let me tell you. Most of the time when we talk about dogs having papers, we are talking about pedigree papers. Pedigree papers here in Australia are issued by the Australian National Kennel Council. The Australian National Kennel Council is the Australian body that overarches the state bodies like Dogs New South Wales and Dogs Victoria, amongst others. Now, interestingly, there's the pedigree papers, and they are completely separate to the paperwork that your dog needs, such as your microchip details, your vaccination records, etc. Many unscrupulous backyard breeders and breeders looking to sell for a quick buck will tell you that the dog comes with papers. What they will provide you are vaccination records, vet checks, microchip details, but they are not the pedigree papers. Now, if you're just a pet owner who wants an awesome dog, of course you can always check out adoptions, and we need more dogs adopted because there are too many dogs in shelters. But if you decide that you need a pedigree dog for some reason, okay, then you need to be getting pedigree papers with your dog. When you bump into that all too often occurring breeder that decides that I'll give you your dog, but you don't really need papers because you don't want to show him. But if you want papers, it'll be an extra $500 or an extra $1,000. Wrong. Okay, wrong. If that breeder is indeed a registered breeder with a breeder's prefix with the Australian National Kennel Council, it is against their rules for that breeder to give you a puppy without providing a pedigree with that dog. You are not allowed as a registered breeder with the Kennel Council to breed pedigree dogs and then sell those pedigree dogs without a pedigree. That would just be bad business for the Kennel Council, wouldn't it? But the rule exists. So, if you are getting bent over by a breeder who's trying to tell you that they need an extra $500, you can tell them to stick it and go to another breeder that is more ethical. So, these pedigree papers, what do they look like? Well, they'll either be a pinky orangey colour or a blue colour. Okay, the blue colour is main register and the pinky orangey colour is limited register. What does that mean? Well, limited register has limitations around it. Okay, that just means that you can't breed the dog and produce a pedigreed litter without permission from the person that owns the rights to that pedigree, which is usually the breeder. That doesn't really affect how cool that dog is. It has no real effect on you if you don't intend on breeding. You can still show the dog if you're on a limited register. It's only really going to affect you if you're looking at breeding the dog. Now, let's talk about what papers are not. Papers are not any type of guarantee of quality of a dog. Papers do not, in any way, shape or form, make any dog better than a $200 mongrel that you pull out of the pound and give a second chance. Okay? In many cases, you've got just as much chance of having an awesome dog from the pound as you do from buying a dog that has a pedigree. It doesn't affect the individual worth of the dog. It doesn't affect how awesome he is. It shouldn't affect how much you love him unless your values are right out of whack. Okay? So what pedigrees are? Pedigrees really only give you verification, which matches a microchip number on the dog, of who your dog's parents were. Hey, and there are some shonky pedigrees out there too, guys. But as a general rule, that's what they do. What pedigrees don't do is make the dog more awesome or guarantee any type of behaviour. Okay? Now, what do they cost the breeder? $34.50 to register a puppy 3 months or under on the main register here in Victoria. This is like 2013-14 prices. An extra $9.50 to register that same dog if it's over 3 months old. $23.50 for a limited registered dog, or thereabouts. I'm going off memory. Okay? So, when this person tells you $500 more for a pedigree, he's making, if he is able to even provide that, he's pretty much making 1,000% on that, isn't he? For something that he should be doing anyway. So, if your jackass breeder tries to sell you a pedigree for $500, forget it. If he's selling the dog with a limited register pedigree and you want to buy the main register pedigree, that's a completely different kettle of fish. And we can talk about that later. But look, that'll do for now. I'm Brad Griggs. As you can see from the writing here beside me, it's Canine Services International. And we'll put a link down below where you can check out the blog post attached to this. So, take care, train hard.